Hello, Calvary Bible Church, and welcome to week 10 of our Bible reading this week. We will finish in Leviticus, we will start in Numbers, and we will look at Mark 6, um, Luke 9, and John 6. Let's get going with our study. As always, I'm just going to encourage you to remember to look for Jesus in the text. We start down today in chapter 16 of Leviticus. And this is an interesting passage because this is a transition in Leviticus where we go from the sins and the sacrifices, which is chapters 1 through 15, to God's teaching on holy living and holy things and how we're to respond to that. And those are chapter 17 through 27. And so right smack in the middle, we have this passage, chapter 16, and this is where we start to talk about the atonement of sin, and we see that God calls Aaron to prepare a sacrifice, prepare a bull, and prepare two goats. And with the bull, it is a sacrifice for himself, for Aaron, and he has to follow the procedures. And then we see these two goats, and some atonements are placed on one goat, and some atonements are placed on the other goat. And the one goat is sacrificed, and we find out by reading the text that goat is picked by basically a gambling. They draw straws for it, or they throw dice, or however it is that they decided. But one is chosen by lots, as the word says, and so one goat, like I said, is sacrificed. The other one gets taken out into the wilderness, far, far away. And atonements and sins are on that. And to truly understand this, we have to just kind of step back a little bit and look at the big picture. So when we look at this temple and we see this procedure of the atonements and all that God calls Aaron to do, we have to understand that part of this is the cleaning of the temple itself. There's an atonement for the sins in the temple itself. And this is interesting because all the sacrifices for a whole year have been coming to this temple, and they've been given their sacrifice to it. And as you look at the temple, it is a place that is holy, and it's become a place of death and sin. And so what God is calling on this Day of Atonement is he's saying, let's purify the temple. Let's purify every aspect of it and look upon this as a holy place. And sometimes in life we have to do that ourselves. You know, the bad things happen and events happen. An example is like the Twin Towers. I mean, how do we look at that ground now? It's hallowed ground because of a bad event happened there. And so they cleansed it. They made it a beautiful thing because we don't want to remember the bad that happened there. We want to remember the people, absolutely, for sure, but we don't want to remember the bad things that happened there. We want it to be a holy or a hollow ground. And it's the same with the temple. So part of this cleaning and atonement is the cleaning of the temple. But then we get back to these goats, these two goats. And just a reminder, as I'm still on the cleaning part, you know, sometimes we have to look at our church, we have to look at our homes. Are there things that we need to clean out? Is there things that we need to make right so that it is a holy place before the Lord? Here at Calvary Bible, we do a great job of keeping things clean and orderly, and we could always do better, and we always make things look nice because we want it to be a place that is worship, a place of worship, a place of gathering, a place of fellowship. And so try to remember that as you read through this passage today and this atonement. And another note is we look at this week. We're going to actually be talking about it a little bit on Sunday when we talk about this idea of shame. And that brings me to the two goats, the atonement of the one that is sacrificed and the one that is sent into the wilderness. You know, sins happen all the time, and sometimes the sins aren't our own. And so this goat of atonement, this scapegoat, as it says, that's sent out in the wilderness, it represents sins that maybe we don't realize that we've done, or sins that have happened against us, or sins that we can't quite place on the exact moment or the exact event. And so that scapegoat, it represents that. And ironically and interestingly, Jesus is our scapegoat for society. He was the one that went on our behalf and became that sacrifice for our sin, total sins that we don't even know that we have done. And so when we look at this and we read through the passage, think about that gift that Jesus gave us by going to the cross. It's just a powerful thing to look at. And so as we continue through, finish up the book of Leviticus, there's a lot there. Like I said, the second half, he gets into more of the holy things that we look at. How are we in loving each other? How are we at worshiping God and things like that? And so it's important to walk through that and understand the passages as they balance out and go forward. Look for leadership roles, look for holiness roles, look for how we're supposed to love, and just look through for God through that. And if you see hints of Jesus through that, that's important to understand too. Chapter 26 and 27 are important to us to look at as we get to the end. Basically, as we've started this year of whom will you serve, chapter 26 and 27 Leviticus really focuses, if you're going to serve God or you're going to serve other gods. And so look for that as well. We started in Numbers. There's a census taken, and we see the tribe of Levi separated. They're not part of that census. They're set aside to be part of the temple work. You jump into Mark, we see that Jesus rejected in his home. And it's difficult, and we know this, to be respected and honored in the places that we grew up. And we know this is not Jesus' case. They looked at him as the carpenter's son, but he didn't do any wrong. He was not a person of sin. And so in our case, a lot of times it's people seeing the good and the bad and the ugly of us. And so we can be rejected in our own home. Make sure that you look at the balance of that chapter. There's the kingdom building that continues to happen. John 6 shows us Jesus feeding the multitude. And some commentators kind of look at Jesus as a representation of what Moses was. Although Jesus is greater than Moses, he fed them, he led them, he ministered to them. All this is important. And so read through that, read through the rest of Texas Week, and get your heart ready for Sunday. And if you don't and aren't planning on, come out to the Grand Prix for Awana and have a great time celebrating the kids and the hard work they've done. And hopefully we'll see you there. If not, hopefully we'll see you Sunday. If not, we'll see you online once again. Hey, have an amazing and richly blessed week, and we'll meet again soon. God bless you.